Welcome, everybody. Sports Stuff Hub episode 43 begins right now. So, we are still in the midst of summertime drama. There is no football being played right now. And there's not a whole lot going on except for the ongoing Aaron Rodgers saga in Green Bay. Now, Adam Schefter has been the one dropping all these bombs and tidbits of information based on the conversations he's had with a number of people within the organization around the NFL and whatever his sources are. And it comes out now that the Packers offered Aaron Rodgers a 2-year extension to keep him there for the next 5 years during this past offseason. That would have made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So now everybody's saying, see, it's not about money. Because a handful of people were trying to say that Aaron Rodgers was just holding out for more money, which was not the truth at all. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need money. Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about money. It's now to a point where Aaron Rodgers cares about whether he believes the organization has his back and gives a crap about him. And that's where the issues are coming from. And from everything I'm seeing, he doesn't believe they do. He doesn't believe they have his back. He doesn't believe that they have his best interest in mind. He doesn't believe that they're going to stand behind him and support him, not just financially, but... And so it's become just an ongoing oddity. Watching the Pat McAfee show this morning, Pat McAfee got a text directly from Aaron Rodgers saying, I've never had anybody clean my house in Green Bay other than my particular person, maid, whatever service, whatever he uses. So somebody coming out and saying, hey, so-and-so is having their house cleaned by blah, 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 was not accurate. He also mentioned about his country club membership up there, or golf club membership, or whatever that membership was that got renewed recently. He even clarified that and said, that's on auto-renew. I don't do anything for that. Which makes sense. Because most memberships to clubs like that are automatically renewed. Because they want your money whether or not you're attending there or not. There's a lot of places that auto renew your membership and take the money from you. I've been a part of a number of them. Wine clubs especially. Wineries. They want you to auto set up. Gyms do the same thing. They want you to be on auto pay where it renews after a certain period of time automatically because they want your money. If you stop going there, they still want your money. And then it's a pain in the ass to ever get them to stop charging you. I've been down that path with a few gyms before. That's not fun. It's almost like having a stalker. I actually had a gym one time. I had moved, and I couldn't go to that gym any longer. And they would not accept me closing my account. So I actually put a stop payment through my bank account. The gym started calling me that they were going to send me to collections. This is ridiculous. The gym was trying to strong-arm me and say that I owed them money for months I'd never used the gym, that I wasn't even in the area to use the gym. And they would not accept the fact that I was not going to continue paying them money. It was disgusting. They threatened to send me to collections. They threatened to arrest me. A gym. Okay? And this was not a small gym. This is a gym in West Seattle that MMA fighters attended, that Seahawks worked out at, that other pro athletes in the area and semi-pro athletes and collegiate athletes all worked out at in the area. And here they're coming after little old me because I moved out of the area and could no longer, I didn't want to commute to go to that gym. I didn't want to go an hour to go to the gym. And they're coming after me like freaking the mob. Like, we're going to break your legs if you don't pay. What? It's a gym, bro. And these are the same people who get this. And I know, most fitness experts or most trainers hate when somebody at the gym has experience in fitness training. Well, I played college sports, and I did a lot of classes for athletic training and whatnot because I was hurt for most of my collegiate life. And so I spent a lot of time with the athletic trainers and in rehab and whatnot. And so I wanted to take classes to help me understand better what was going on. So I took a bunch of sports medicine classes and fitness classes and whatnot to understand the way the human body works with, working out and building muscle. And so I start going to this gym to start with, and I was 26-ish years old, give or take, 25 maybe, 25, 26 years old. I'm in good shape. I'm playing sports regularly. I'm a couple years removed from college, and not saying that I'm, a heartthrob by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm a big guy though. I'm 6'8", 6'9" I'm right in that. Right, I'm actually technically 6'9". Joints are starting to settle down a little bit, so I'm probably more closer to 6'8" now. But so back then 6'9", and I was a cut 210, 215, but I looked skinny as shit. I mean, let's be honest, I did. At 215, 6'9", yeah, you look skinny. I always struggled with putting weight on, especially because I worked out and played sports so much. So anyway, so I got asked all the time if I was a trainer, even when I'm just working out. No, I'm not a trainer. But I would also get asked quite a bit for tips because I know my way around a weight room. I've literally lived in a weight room from the age of 15 until about 30. Well, 27, 20, 28, 28, 29-ish. So I've easily put in well over a decade in living in weight rooms. Now, I've never been a big buff, look like I can bench 500 pounds and squat 1,000 pounds. I've never looked like that because I'm wiry. But I know my way around a gym. I know all the equipment. I played high school and college sports, and I worked out with a ton of pro athletes. I know my way around a gym. And so people ask me all the time, hey, am I doing this right? Hey, can you give me some pointers? Hey, can you do this? Well, when you go to a larger gym that has training staff, fitness trainers, athletic trainers, apparently they don't like giving when customers give advice, even if it's solicited, to other customers. And I got warned multiple times at this gym not to talk to people. Because when I filled out my thing to go to this gym, I mentioned, they ask that for some reason, some of these gyms, they want to know everything about you, including your blood type. And they asked my athletic background, and obviously I check all the boxes for what I've done and everything and whatnot, and immediately puts me on the list, I found out. The watch list. And so anytime I interact with somebody, I get talked to by one of the staff members. I'm like, they asked me. I didn't go up and give them unsolicited advice. It's not like they were working out and I walked up to them and was like, hey, buddy, you're doing that wrong. You want me to show you how to do it? Hey, if you do this. No, I'm literally working out, minding my own business with headphones in. and a woman will walk up to me and be like, hey, do you know if I do this machine, will that help with this, or will this, or will this, or if I do this, am I doing this right? Or, hey, can you spot me on this, or can you watch me do this and make sure giving me any pointers and stuff? Okay. If somebody asks me for help, or for me to, chime in my knowledge, if I'm versed in the subject, I will gladly help. And I get warned constantly at this place. Oh, we're gonna kick you out. We're gonna revoke your membership. This is the same place who was threatening to send me to jail after I moved and changed and put a stop payment on my membership that I couldn't close my membership. I mean, this is just stupid. This is just stupid. And I found out later on by talking to a bunch of people, because I again, even after, being out of college and stuff, I still played sports locally. I played in some of the fun leagues. I played in some of the uber competitive different, football and basketball leagues. And I've played. I've been around. I've played in some of the 3-on-3 tournaments, the street ball tournaments. I've traveled, down the West Coast playing in some of those. And I've met a lot of people. Well, from time to time, you run into somebody who is a trainer, and they've talked about some of the gyms that they've worked at, and some of the gyms that they would never work at again, and how bad some of this stuff is. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, yeah. So that gym I stopped going to. And it was a nice gym. I really liked it. And I'm not going to call them out on here. It was a very nice, very well put together gym. Very well kept, very organized. But it was just, their whole mentality with stuff was ridiculous. Anyway, so stories from my days, and I could get into a lot of them, and we can do that on another show maybe. But anyway, so so Aaron Rodgers, dealing with a lot of rumors going on right now, and as he has said on the Pat McAfee show before, it gives him a chance to tell the real story and silence the douchebags out there, and I'm all for that. I love when an athlete has a venue to be real and get some of that out. That's one thing that I want to build this show up to be able to do, is have athletes on the show, have celebrities on the show, local or big, and have them just be real people talking, BSing, chit-chatting, whether it's about what they do or what, something else that they're interested in. Either way, but yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, that saga's not going away. Now, it does sound like, we're probably going to see Aaron Rodgers as a Packer this year. I think most likely scenario is he plays this year and he's gone after 21. Convinces them to trade him, or he retires. Who knows? Who really knows? I mean, we don't know what's truly going on in his head yet, and we don't know what the organization is prepared to do. But we're not out of the woods yet on Aaron Rodgers. One thing that I do want to talk about tonight, and I'm not much of a political antagonist, political discusser. I don't get into politics. And when I say I don't get into politics, I don't discuss them with people. Just like I don't discuss religion with people. Because if you're in a political or religious discussion with somebody who has the opposite view of you, you've both lost. Because neither one of you will convince the other person that they're wrong. Because from what I have learned through my life, political and religious views are opinion. And if you try to argue somebody's opinion, you're losing every time. You can't do that. So, I don't talk politics, I don't talk religion. So, but what I do want to talk about is we had an announcement, not we, but the world, the NFL world had an announcement that we were going to see full stadiums for 2021. The NFL was going to be back. Stadiums jam-packed with fans. We were going to be able to go to games this year. That might change. There's talks right now in Japan that they might cancel the Olympics because we're having athletes over there testing positive. We are having Olympic athletes who are supposed to be in quarantine, or secluded at least, testing positive. So, if that's happening over there, we're already having it happen in baseball right now. The Yankees just had several players test positive. What are we going to do in the NFL? At least with baseball, there's quite a bit of social distancing involved in most baseball. Basketball season is going to be potentially over tonight if the Bucks win tonight. But football, we're about to enter a 32-team league with preseason starting in just a few weeks. What? August 12th, I think, is the Hall of Fame game, preseason opener. So we're 3.5 weeks from that starting. And now we have variants of COVID that are hitting, even though people are getting vaccinated, and people are getting double vaccinated and still getting COVID. Rich Eisen just announced a couple days ago he's double vaxxed and he got COVID. Now again, I'm not getting into the politics of this at all, because I'm not gonna go back and forth whether the he saids and the she saids and who's claiming what and whatnot. But we're on the verge of another freaking lockdown. Mask mandates are already jumping back up. California just implemented one. Vaxxed or not. Washington's already considering it. My money says by the end of next week, Washington's got their mask mandate back up, vaxxed or not. I got mine. It ain't gonna matter. I've talked to a handful of people who vaxxed and still got it. Now, what people believe the point of the vaccination is tends to vary. Some people believe the vaccination was preventative to stop them from getting COVID. Other people believe that it's just to make the symptoms less severe and to keep you alive. That seems a little more realistic to me. I don't believe that there's a cock block to COVID right now, for lack of a better term. I don't believe that there's a true vaccination that will stop COVID from raping your body. My opinion. It's too new. And there's all these variants coming out. There's another variant that's now hitting, besides just the Delta variant that's been running rampant through people lately. Now there's apparently, my wife told me this morning, there's another variant hitting the streets. What the hell are we going to do? I mean, it's not looking good. So, are we going to have full stadiums for football? We're seeing spikes in cases. We're seeing spikes in hospitalizations again. Now, I haven't looked at any deaths, but but are we going to see lockdowns again? Are we going to see potential for shifting games, postponing games, canceling games, ending the season early? canceling the entire season before it gets going? What are we going to run into here? There's a lot at stake here, not just sports-wise, health-wise. We really don't know what COVID's going to do to the body for long-term effects yet. We don't know. But there's a lot that can happen. A lot can change in the next couple weeks. A lot can change in the next couple hours. There's just like, I'm hearing about this child tax credit that everybody's getting. And you're getting, a payment every 15th of the month, I think it is, for the next few months. And people are like, oh, yay, free money. Well, I also just read that it's an advance in your child tax credit for this next tax season. You're not getting the money for free. It is what's coming due to you, what you would normally get at tax time. They're forwarding it to you. So at tax time, you're not going to get your child tax credit. Or at least you're not going to get the lump sum. You're going to get a smaller portion of it. And David just chimed in and said, I know an epidemiologist who called all these mutated strands before the first one shut everything down. And correct, I've read quite a few epidemiologist reports over the last year, and a lot of them were saying the exact same type of thing, early on. I mean, before the real lockdowns ever even hit, you had one strain that was here on the West Coast. You had a completely other strain that was on the East Coast. The West Coast one came from, they're saying came from, the Asia area, the Orient, the throughout Asia. And then the East Coast virus came from Europe. All obviously originated from the same area, but different variants because of where they've traveled and the people that's infected between here and there. It mutates. That's what a virus does. As it infects different people, it changes. Well, if you go this way around a globe and it meets over here, so all the way around, starts here, goes both ways all the way around and meets here, you're looking at two different viruses once they finally meet. So, not shocking. I'm not surprised there's going to be a lot of mutations. And I said this early on, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that COVID is the flu. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that COVID is going to become a new version of the flu to us. Because when the flu first came out, when influenza first hit humanity, it was an epidemic that wiped out a lot of people because they didn't know what to do about it. And over time, vaccinations, medications, all that fun stuff. And every year now, there's a new strand of it, and we have to prepare. Same thing's going to happen here. That's just that's the future we're looking at. So, again, not trying to get too deep into that. I do have, we are going to talk football. This is not a, we're not going to spend an hour talking COVID. So, all right, one thing that I am going to talk about before we get going on football talk. Sports cards. We have this weekend in Auburn, we have the Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles show. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, at the Auburn Outlet Mall. It is the last show before the National. 3 days after the Twin Oaks show, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at the Donald Stevens Convention Center in Chicago, Illinois, the National, the largest card show in the world. going for the first time. I've never been to the National. I had thought about it a few times, and I never really put the effort into pulling the trigger to go. Earlier this year, I was talking to my wife about it, and with taking the business into a full-time status, had to make it happen. So we're doing it. I'm doing it. So I'm going to be there. And I am literally going to be there the whole time. I fly in Tuesday night, I fly out the following Monday. So I am there from start to finish. Now, one thing that I did find out from a couple people is that a number of people are flying in early on Tuesday and Monday night even. And they're doing stuff Tuesday night. And I'm just like, you jackwads, you didn't tell me you were flying in that early. So a lot of the people that I was planning on going to the Cubs game with, while I was there, are going Tuesday night. I don't fly in until midnight. So I will not be going to the Cubs game. But I might Wednesday. Who knows? But anyway, Thursday, we've got trade night put on by Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. And Card Collector 2, Ryan from Ohio, along with the Channels boys, Ryan and Justin. Apparently they are all setting it up, and I believe, if I understand correctly, Loop is partly promoting it as well. And PJ Washington, from what I understand, is going to be there as well. PJ Washington from the Hornets is going to be there and signing autographs for people. And this is after hours. This is in the evening, called Trade Night. Friday, I am going to the Southern Hobby Breaker Fest, which is a little shindig they put on for breakers and brick and mortar stores. And so I got my invite for that, signed up for it. And then Saturday is Eloy's doing a little party at his lake house with a handful of I don't know if it's just breakers or collectors too, or I don't know. He's got something going on at his lake house, so I'm gonna head over there for that. Sunday is going to be my wrap-up deals, finish everything off day, and relax at night, and fly home Sunday morning, or Monday morning. So it's going to be a jam-packed 5-6 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days technically. But I'm staying... I thankfully booked everything long before the National announced that they were on for sure. I bought my full week Super VIP pass early. Booked my flight early. Got it for like $300 or $350 round trip. And then got my hotel directly across the street from the convention center at a rather nice hotel. And I got that for like $800. So, which I found out later on. I found out, like, I looked it up 2 to 3 weeks ago. It's almost tripled from what I paid. So, I was pretty stoked to get the price locked in as early as I did, and catch it before the National announced they were a full go. So I'm pretty stoked. My first show, I'm going to try to take advantage of everything possible. I'm going to try to bring back a bunch of stuff. I am going to be picking up a bunch of singles to bring back for the local card shows here. I'm going to be scouring the $1 to $10 boxes for singles to bring back here. And then I'm going to try to pick up some wax for break night. I would love to pick up enough that it can last for a few months. So that's the goal. and I'm gonna go check everything out. I've got a bunch of people who said that they were gonna be there this year, and I'm looking forward to meeting a ton. I know a lot of locals that are gonna be there that I know personally. But I'm looking forward to meeting a large number of people that I've never met in person before. Don, being one of them, mentioned to me that he's going to go at least one day. So I'm looking forward to meeting Don, who I've known for, 5 years, Don? Ish? I might be underselling it. But, like I said, a large number of people I'm looking forward to meeting. And I'm a nobody. I don't consider myself influencer. I don't consider myself a big shot. I'm a small fish in a very large ocean. So I'm not playing the, I don't want to talk to so-and-so, or I don't want to meet so-and-so. I want to meet everybody. I'm also going to be using this a lot for networking. 2016. So yeah, about 5 years, Don. So I'm going to be using this for networking. That's going to be a big part of it as well. So everything that I can do to help Sports Stuff Hub continue to grow and build and gain some recognition throughout other collectors, that'd be fantastic. That's part of my goal out while I'm there, is helping build the Sports Stuff Hub brand. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Don and I are going to go get some whiskey while we're there. Absolutely. It's going to happen. All right. So enough chit-chat about the National. A topic that I want to cover tonight. I had tweeted about this, and everybody knows that I'm a big Trey Lance fan, obviously being a North Dakota State alum. I love my North Dakota State players. And it's not often I get to cheer on a quarterback who comes in and gets drafted in the first round. Obviously, yes, we all know Carson Wentz. We all know the struggles he's had for the last few years. We also know how good he can be. And I watched Carson Wentz in college, but I didn't really watch him hardcore until his final year at North Dakota State. He had some injuries and stuff, which is part of the reason why it was tough to get consistent watch time out of him. But I really enjoyed Easton Stick later on, but Stick was not an early round quarterback. He was a later round quarterback who happened to go to the Chargers, who then happened to draft Justin Herbert the following year, even though I really wish that he would have gotten a chance to start. Then comes Trey Lance, predecessor to Easton Stick. And I said this from Trey Lance's first touchdown pass in college football to Phoenix Sproles. This kid's special. And I have receipts. You can check my timeline. It's on there. I documented all of that. I called that from day one. This kid is going to be good. And I even said, I went as far to say this last fall, that had Trey Lance gotten to play an entire season of a second year, we wouldn't have been talking Trevor Lawrence at number 1. It would have been Trey Lance number 1. And I'm also saying that I believe that Trey Lance is going to be the most successful quarterback out of this draft class. Mark my words. So, I did a little research. I'm not a big FBS guy, obviously. I do enjoy the Miami Hurricanes. I was a fan of them before I was a North Dakota State guy. So I still keep tabs on Miami. But I love my Bison. I'm an FCS guy. Here we go with some information that maybe not everybody knew about the rankings of our precious first-round quarterbacks of this year. I compiled a list of stats. Now, I didn't get time to put this into a document for everybody to see. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get to, and I wanted to cover this before I leave for the National, because if I waited, then we're waiting 2 weeks, because there's no show next week. There's no show next week. There's no break night next week. Tomorrow night's break night is the last break night until August. So I compiled a list of stats. And the stats that I'm about to read off, and the rankings of the top 5 quarterbacks. These are just the 5 first-round quarterbacks, okay? Number 2. This is just average stats. Just their average stat ranking for one season. What I did was I used their stats from all their seasons that they played, as long as they started at least 3 games for their college. I used their stats for that season as a season of play. They had to start 3 games, though. If they didn't start 3 games, I didn't use their stats. So, these are starting quarterback stats, where they rank on average per season. For completions, Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 ranked quarterback for average completions per season at 252. Mac Jones was number 2 at 250. Justin Fields was number 3 at 198. So there's a big drop off. Now, this also includes bowl games. There is a huge difference between FCS guys and FBS guys, because FBS guys typically play 1 to 2 games more than FCS guys. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Fields, 198 at number 3. Trey Lance, 192, ranked number 4. And Zach Wilson at 5th with 188. That's completions. On average, completions per season. Passing yards. Passing yards. Only passing yards. This is not adding in rush yards. Passing yards only. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. 3,366 pass yards on average over his starting seasons at Clemson. Number 2, Mac Jones, 3,001. Number 3, Trey Lance, 2,786. Number 4, Justin Fields, right behind him at 2,687. So literally 99 yards less than Trey Lance. And Zach Wilson at number 5, 2,550 yards. So, what we're seeing already, Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence have dominated the 1-2 spot. Lance and Fields have swapped back and forth at 3 and 4. Wilson has been the bottom feeder here. By the way, Wilson was the number 2 overall pick. Okay? From BYU. Touchdowns. Passing touchdowns. This is not rushing touchdowns. Passing touchdowns. Number 1. Justin Fields. The number 4 drafted quarterback. Averaged the most passing touchdowns. 31.5. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence with 30. Number 3, Trey Lance with 28. Number 4, Mac Jones, 27.5. And coming in at number 5 with 18.6, Zach Wilson. The number 2 overall pick, 18.6. Interceptions. Obviously, the number one is the lowest amount of interceptions. Okay? Best is lowest. Worst is most. Number one, not who you guys think. Trey Lance. Trey Lance was the most efficient quarterback in college football. 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions. Number 2, Mac Jones, averaging 3.5. Number 3, Justin Fields, averaging 4.5. Number 4, Zach Wilson, averaging 5. And number 5, Trevor Lawrence, averaging 5.6. Bet you guys didn't expect those numbers. Not many people did. Now, let's get to some mobility. We're in a golden age of football right now where mobile quarterbacks and dynamic quarterbacks are changing how defenses are approaching the game. Mobile quarterbacks are becoming A, fantasy football superstars, B, taking their teams to deep playoff runs, C, winning MVPs. When you look at guys like Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton was doing it for a long time. And I believe every single person I just listed there has won an MVP. Except Kyler Murray. But he was Rookie of the Year. And one would even say a Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, mobile. Not quite the same. But they can still move. So, mobile quarterbacks. Let's talk rushing. Who averaged the most rush yards from the quarterback position out of those 5? Well, that's easy. That's Trey Lance. At more than double the number 2 spot. Trey Lance, 1,100 yards as a quarterback. 1,100 rushing yards as a quarterback. You want to talk about dynamic, mobile, agile? People who have been comparing him to Ryan Tannehill blows me away. Now, Tannehill's good qualities, sure. Josh Allen's good qualities, sure. But I've said this for a year. And then some. His mobility is on par with a Russell Wilson and a Lamar Jackson. Mark my words, that will come out. Number 2 in rushing yards, Justin Fields, 433 yards. Yeah, that's good. I'm not arguing that. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. Number 3, Trevor Lawrence, 314 yards. Number 4, Zach Wilson, 214 yards. And coming in dead last, Mac Jones, averaging 25 yards per season. 25 rush yards a season. Nobody is going to confuse him with a running back. Yards per carry while running the ball. Yards per carry. Number 1, Trey Lance. 6.5 yards per carry. This is not somebody who was handed the ball. This is somebody who took the snap, whether shotgun or under center or pistol. Took the snap, drops back to pass, and still averages 6.5 yards per carry on 1,100 yards. That's insane. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence, 4.1 yards per clip. 3, Justin Fields coming in right behind him at 4.0. Number 4, Zach Wilson, 3 yards per carry. And in dead last again, Mac Jones, averaging less than 2 yards per carry. The final stat that I'm pulling up right now, rush touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns. So, when I mentioned touchdowns earlier, that was only passing touchdowns. This is now rushing touchdowns. Number 1, yeah, you guys guessed it, Trey Lance, 14 rushing touchdowns. A quarterback with 14 rushing touchdowns. Justin Fields coming in at number 2, 7.5. That's solid. If he puts up 7 to 8 rushing touchdowns this year, yeah, good on him. Number 3, Trevor Lawrence with 6. Number 4, Zach Wilson with 5. And again, Mac Jones rounding out the backside. 1. So, you literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories. 7 major statistical categories that I just pulled up for the rookie quarterback class, for the top 5 draft picks. 7 categories that the number 2 overall pick finished last or second to the last in every one of them. Why did he go 2 overall? Blows me away. I wondered that before. I said that before the end of the collegiate season, when people were saying Mac Jones was creeping up the boards. Why? Why? It just I can't fathom it. The same thing happened with Jared Goff. To me, the Zach Wilson thing just reminds me of Jared Goff. Because Jared Goff wasn't talked about as being the number 1 overall pick during the college football season. It wasn't until January, all of a sudden, he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Carson Wentz, I said it earlier in the season that he was going to be a first rounder. I didn't think he'd be the number 2 overall pick. But even Carson Wentz went from, a little bit talked about him in November, December, Senior Bowl, Combine, all of a sudden, Eagles trade up, and they're going to take either Goff or Wentz. Why were either of those guys 1 or 2? Same thing happened this year. People panicked. They were afraid that any of these new guys were going to be the next big thing. That is exactly what I believe took place. There was too much rumbling around the NFL for how good these quarterbacks could potentially be, and teams just went nuclear. Unnecessary. I honestly didn't even think that the Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, I didn't think any of them should go 1 overall or 2 overall. Now, I knew early on that Trevor Lawrence was going to go 1 overall because everybody had been talking about it for the last 5 freaking years. But as I've said many times before, I don't believe that you need to go quarterback 1 overall, because most times it doesn't actually do anything to help your team. You got bigger holes than that. There's a reason why you guys had the number 1 overall pick. Unless it was a traded, if you traded for it, that's a whole different story. If you were a mid-round and you traded up to get the 1 overall, great, good on you. You probably are then putting a quarterback in a position to win. But if you earned that number 1 overall pick, there's a really good chance your quarterback is going to fall on his face and won't be your quarterback a few years from now. Or you could do just like the Eagles did and trade up and take the quarterback who's really good and then just screw him over and not build around him and burn him out and trade him. That's neither here nor there. So, this year's quarterback class is going to be fun to watch. Not only just because I'm a Trey Lance fan, but I'm getting behind Justin Fields. Just from what I've seen, I think Justin Fields is going to be the second best quarterback in the draft. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be. I don't think he'll be around long. Well, he might be around long. Depends on, I guess we'll put it this way. It depends on the Jaguars' level of commitment to Urban Meyer. If the Jaguars fail for the next 2 seasons, well, we'll say 3 seasons. We'll give them 3 seasons. If the Jaguars are not successful for 2021, 22, and 23, I think they got to move on from Urban Meyer. If Trevor Lawrence can last that long, then I think the next head coach could help and could make it better. But it all depends on who the next head coach is going to be. But I do not believe that Urban Meyer is going to be successful in Jacksonville. And Miller just brought up a good point. The moment I saw Lance play, I knew he was going to be special. Been calling him the best of the class since then. I love when people see what I see. And just makes me feel good. And had Trey Lance played for a different school and I saw Trey Lance play, I'd say the same thing. It just makes me love the fact that he's from North Dakota State and he is from Minnesota and is the best quarterback in the draft class. I'm happy for it. But like I said, had Trey Lance gone to another school, I'd still say the same thing because he's that damn good. Simple as that. And I want you to take into account all those stats that I read before. I want you guys to think about something. Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, can't really count Wilson. I won't throw BYU into this. But Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama. How many running backs and wide receivers did Lawrence, Fields, and Jones play with that are in the NFL today? Or that got drafted with them? How many of their teammates are in the NFL? I want you to think about this. Trevor Lawrence, Fields, and Jones all had NFL caliber wide receivers and running backs. All of their offensive weapons, all in the NFL. Name me one person, and none of you can do this. Name me one wide receiver, tight end, or running back that Trey Lance has thrown the ball to or handed the ball off to that is in the NFL right now. Not one drafted. There's one player. There is one player that got signed by the Jaguars as a tight end last year. That's it. That is it. One tight end from North Dakota State was an undrafted free agent to the Jaguars, of all places. And he only played in like 5 games all season. He was on the practice squad. Well, offensive lineman. Yes, you are correct. There are other, as far as people who Trey Lance played with, Dylan Radins is the only offensive player who got drafted. Correct. Now, last year, again, like I said, in 2019, Trey Lance's tight end, undrafted free agent, is with the Jaguars right now. So, there is that. But you're talking about a guy who has been throwing to people who didn't get signed to the big colleges. We're talking about guys who we're talking about guys who went everywhere else to the small colleges and then maybe transferred in. But everybody talks about all these big name quarterbacks. Everybody talks about what Trevor Lawrence can do, what Justin Fields can do, what Mac Jones could do, what Joe Burrow could do. Look at the talent that was around Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert, not as much. But he still played for a big-time college and had weapons. Tell me one wide receiver that Carson Wentz played with that's in the NFL. There's one. There's one. He was not drafted. Tell me one that Easton Stick played with. I'll wait. These are guys who dominated their conference and their entire league in college. And some would argue, well, it's a lower tier of play, lower tier of competition. You can only play who you're lined up against. Carson Wentz played against multiple FBS opponents, and North Dakota State railed them. They were 13-2 against FBS opponents. There's a reason why FBS schools don't want to play North Dakota State. Because the FBS school has to pay the FCS school. And after North Dakota State started dominating FBS schools, why would they want to pay a powerhouse team to come in and kick the snot out of them? The last team that did it was Iowa, when Iowa was ranked number 3 in the FBS. And Iowa got beat by North Dakota State on their home field. People don't do that. You don't pay money to come and bring somebody in to beat you. That's not smart. It's not smart at all. If you're gonna pay to bring in somebody for a tune-up game, bring in somebody you're gonna just wash. That's why I was looking forward to the beginning of last season. The beginning of last season would have been fantastic had North Dakota State gone with Trey Lance under center and played Oregon. Then we would have seen. And if Trey Lance, again, and I stand by this, if Trey Lance had gotten to play his sophomore season at North Dakota State, a full season, we'd have seen way different results on draft night. And I'm talking Trey moving up the board. Well, and that's the thing, David. I mean, you line up, you got to play a certain amount of your own conference. But you got to schedule one or two out. And that's the thing. North Dakota State always wants to play the bigger competition because I tell you what, a team like North Dakota State losing to an FBS school does nothing to hurt their playoff positioning. And it doesn't matter anyways. Because during the Carson Wentz, Easton Stick, Trey Lance era, nobody in the FCS was stopping that. And with Quincy Patterson coming in this year, Quincy Patterson is damn good quarterback. I'm looking forward to this year. We get Quincy Patterson, who couldn't play in spring ball because he just transferred from Virginia Tech. Pretty sure it was Virginia, or was it? It was either Tech or just straight up Virginia. But we get Quincy Patterson in a quarterback, and quarterback was our main issue with at NDSU in this last spring ball. We had no consistency at quarterback. Zeb Noland, good kid, but he's just not. He couldn't run that offense. That offense wasn't built for a Zeb Noland type of passer. And Cam Miller came in, and he was good, but he was a freshman. He was okay. Well, Quincy Patterson's a more mobile quarterback and can throw. So Quincy's going to come in and be Trey Lance-esque. Won't be quite as dynamic as Trey, but he's going to be damn good. We get Phoenix Sproles back off of injury. Phoenix Sproles is going to get drafted. Mark my words. Phoenix Sproles is going to be drafted into the NFL. And if he goes undrafted, some team's going to sign him and they're going to get a steal. Christian Watson's coming back this year. Christian Watson's another kid. He's a dual threat return specialist and wide receiver. And he's good. He's fast. Christian Watson's another guy who's going to get drafted into the NFL. So now you're going to have Patterson taking over an offense where he's going to have two receivers who are going to go to the NFL. What if this becomes a trend where NFL caliber players are coming out of North Dakota State? We had 3 drafted this year. Yes, 3. Because Jabril Cox still counts as North Dakota State. Because he was a grad transfer to LSU. So you had Trey, Dylan Radins, and Jabril Cox. And there's going to be more names popping up on that list. There's going to be UDFAs that are popping up on that list. And next year, there's going to be some really good kids coming off that defense. I don't doubt it one bit. All of a sudden, this show turned into a North Dakota State fan show. I'm okay with that. Doesn't bother me one bit. We are going to change the subject, though, a little bit. I am going to talk about Melvin Ingram signing with the Steelers. Bud Dupree ended up with the Titans in the offseason. Congrats to him, bud, signing the big money contract. Hope you do well. Needed a hole filled. Alex Highsmith, not quite there yet. I think that kid's got a lot of potential. Rookie last year. Did a good job filling in when Bud got hurt. Melvin Ingram comes in. Nice opposite bookend across from TJ Watt. Gives Highsmith another year to improve, another year to learn, another veteran to learn from. 1 year deal for Ingram. Peace out. Alex Highsmith takes over in 22. This defense is going to be cooking this year. Provided they can stay healthy. We get to see Devin Bush and Big Bob Spokane on that defense together. I'll take it. Cam Hayward, TJ, Melvin Ingram. I'm good with this defense. I'm excited for it. I'm actually looking forward to this year. Ben's coming from a year removed from his surgery. His arm supposedly is going to be stronger this year because everybody that I've talked to about the type of surgery he had, Tommy John for type of surgery it was, I always say, second year their arm is stronger than it was the year before, because it's a process and it's a timetable for their arm to actually get its strength back. And then Najee Harris in the backfield. Little nervous about the offensive line. I kind of like some of the stuff they did, but I was a little kind of wish they'd gone offensive lineman in the first round, but hey, we got one offensive lineman from North Dakota State now playing for us, Joe Haig. I'll take it. But we'll see what happens with the rest of the offensive line. I am nervous about it. I'm a little nervous about it. If Ben goes back to getting hit 60 times this season, this could end badly. Dave says they'll be joining a big conference before you know it, a la Boise State. That's the problem, is they've been trying to, and North Dakota State has been getting shut out from being able to jump up. They've applied numerous times. It's been denied every time. So, Steelers should have signed Mark Ingram instead of Melvin Ingram. Big trust. 4 years ago, yeah, I wanted him to. I wanted Melvin Ingram with the Steelers when he got drafted. I was bummed that he didn't get drafted by the Steelers. I was hoping that was going to be their running back. I loved Melvin Ingram coming out of college. For Mark Ingram, sorry. And Mark Ingram coming out of college I thought was going to be the perfect fit for the Steelers, and then he ended up going to the Saints instead. Steelers passed on him, went defense, obviously, like they always do. But I was hoping that, with the Saints always drafting a running back, and then when they got Alvin Kamara in 2017, I thought maybe, hey, Saints could move him. And then after a year of the dual role like that, he ended up in Baltimore. I was kind of bummed. I wanted Ingram with the Steelers. I really did. Mark Ingram. But I'm happy, Melvin Ingram. I actually thought Melvin Ingram coming out of college was a stud as well. And I wouldn't have hated Melvin getting drafted by the Steelers 7 years ago. We'll see. 8 years ago. 9 years ago? Has it been that long already? We'll see how good he is still, how healthy he stays. But there's potential. He could get his 50th career sack lined up across from TJ Watt. The great thing that he's going to be in a position for is sacks, because he's not going to be able to be double teamed, because if they double team him, whew, that's brutal. The Steelers have 4 players in their in the top 50 for quarterback pressures or quarterback hits over the since 2017. 4 players in the top 50. 4 active players in the top 50. With the signing of Melvin Ingram. Just keep that in mind. 4 players in their defensive front are in the top 50 for quarterback hits since 2017. There's going to be some hurting quarterbacks lined up across from Pittsburgh. Melvin Ingram could feast. That is a scary defense. When you look at everything they've got right now, that's a scary defense. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this year. I think a lot of people are writing them off. Okay. Yes. Jamal Adams absolutely smashes quarterbacks. And no denying that one bit. That's great. I love having hard-hitting defenders. I'll take that. I'm a defensive guy. I played wide receiver, but I love the defense. Love defense. Defense is kind of what screwed me from being able to potentially play sports through college and maybe even beyond college. Playing defense. Thrashed my shoulder. Multiple surgeries. Never fully healed. Now, had that happened today with the way surgeries and medicine is, yeah, probably could have recovered from it earlier. But that was 20 years ago. Jeez. I can't believe it's been that long. I am literally, like, no joke, I am 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away from the anniversary, from the 20th anniversary of blowing my shoulder out. Wow. Wow. Damn. That's real. That's real. I did not see that coming. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I ever told this story. Old war story. So, in high school, I was a 3-sport athlete: basketball, football, and track. Tried playing baseball, I don't know. Played baseball when I was younger, but I never really liked it. I quite honestly hated it. Hated playing. I didn't mind watching. Liked it. But I hated playing it. And I think part of it was my self-confidence that I had. My anxiety that I had, but also the boredom of being out in the outfield. Or out in the field, period. I was good at second base, but I typically got stuck in the outfield, but I don't know. I didn't like the speed of the game, playing it. So I ended up going out for track when I was in junior high, and so I did that through high school. But anyway, so going into senior year, I was a top 50 player in the state for basketball, and I was a top 100 player in the state for football. I was a wide receiver and a hybrid defensive end linebacker, outside linebacker. And I was going into my third year starting both sports. And I played for a small team, small school, single A. Like, we played Ironman football. I had to play defense. I had to play offense and defense. We didn't have enough people unless we wanted to start freshmen and 8th graders. We just didn't have the players. So, we played Ironman football. And first game of the season rolls around. Non-conference game. Just a team. We usually played once a year. And a lot of times we did a summertime scrimmage against this team as well. Just because our coaches knew each other and there was no animosity, no bad blood. It was just a good game. A little bit bigger school than us. They were a 2A team. But they were about our competition level. So we go play. First half, offensive-wise, I got 3 catches. I played tight end at the time. We didn't truly have wide receivers. We had receiving tight ends and we had receiving backs because we played mostly I formation. And we never really had true technical wide receivers. Our coach was old school. And so, first half, I had 3 catches for, I don't know, 40, 50 yards, whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. Nothing huge. But defense, I had 3 or 4 tackles and a couple of pass breakups. Because I played outside linebacker, defensive end. So a lot of my job was covering the flats. And so, second half rolls around. We were up, I don't know, 10, 13 points at half. Second drive on defense. And we're kind of, dropping back more into coverage, almost not quite prevent, but we're, sitting back a little bit on our haunches, not trying to be overly aggressive because we don't want to give up any big plays. So I'm out covering the flats. And quarterback drops back to pass, bootlegs, my side, starts coming up the sideline. And when I'm dropped back into pass coverage, I was covering one of their receivers, and I was about 10 yards deep into our defense. And so quarterback comes up the sideline, starts running. Okay. So I book it over, and I go, and I'm just full speed, just wham, and I smoke him out of bounds. I think he gained 5-6 yards. And I just smoke him out of bounds. Just, leading, we're talking diving, shoulder tackle, just laid him out. I hit straight out, and then when I hit, I came down and I braced myself with my arms like this on the ground, laying out like this, and I braced my arms like this, and I come down on my arms, jarring my shoulder. Bounces me and spins me around so that my feet are, I'm still on my back, but my feet are pointing away from the field by this point. So I kind of 180'd. And I felt my shoulder just pop. And I've never felt this before. And it was just excruciating pain to a point that I couldn't hear anything. It had drowned out sound out of my ears. And I'm laying there for just a couple seconds, and one of my teammates comes over that was on the sideline, and it was like, "Nice pop, Samuelson, nice pop," and he goes over to grab my arm to pull me up, and I'm just like, I'm by this point my legs are starting to do the this, I'm hurt, I'm starting to trying to turn a little bit in my lower half, writhing a little bit, and he tries to grab my hurt arm. And I quick pull it, and I've got it, and I was swatted his hand away with my other hand, and I'm holding my arm to my chest, and I was like, "Get Coach Pauly, get Coach Pauly, get Coach Pauly." He was our special teams coach, but he was also our, he didn't really know shit about medical, but he was who handled the hurt players. And so he comes over and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I was just like, I can't feel my arm. My arm is dead. And he's like, well, just get up and shake it off and get. I was like, no, something's wrong. And so they're on, we're on injury timeout. So they throw somebody else in real quick, and so over comes the EMTs, because I'm like, I refused to get up. Like my shoulder had just, I couldn't move. It hurt so bad. And so EMTs come over. My basketball coach, who's been my basketball coach since I was virtually in kindergarten, my varsity basketball coach, is in the crowd, and he comes over because he's watching his all conference center laying on the ground, writhing in pain, and he comes over and he's standing next to the fence along the sidelines, looking over. I could see him out the bottom of my helmet, and the EMTs come over and they're just like, what happened? And I tell them, I was like, my shoulder. So they undo my shoulder straps and I could feel their hand go up there, and they're just like, oh, your shoulder's out of socket. And I was like, okay, well, what do we need to do? And they're just like, okay, so it's pushed back. So they're like, they lift my knee up to my chest, and they take my good arm, and they're like, hold your knee to your chest. I was like, okay. They grab my other hand, and they bring it around my knee, and they had me clasp my hands together like this around my knee, and they're just like, okay, now we just want you to breathe. I'm like, okay, deep breaths. Got the EMT breathing with me. Coach Paulie's breathing with me. A couple of my teammates are breathing with me. It looked like a bunch of dumbasses. Gotta calm, as I was nicknamed in high school, Sky. Gotta calm Sky down. Okay, you're starting to loosen up a little bit. Yeah. All right, now let the weight of your knee straighten your arm out. Oh, okay. Get my arm completely straightened out. And they're just like, okay, now stop fighting the resistance your knee is giving your shoulder. They're like, let your knee pull your shoulder back forward. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I can slowly start to feel it, and all of a sudden it just goes, and it just pops right back into place. And I was like, oh my God, holy crap, oh my God. Oh God. And they stand me back up, they take my shoulder pads off, and I'm just like, oh man. I'm moving my arm around. I was like, oh God, yeah, it feels so much better, because the amount of pressure relief was just massive. It instantly gone, pain gone. And it just started to ache. Like, just ache. I'm like, oh man, okay. Yeah, I feel a whole lot better now. Okay. All right, let me put my shoulder pads on. I'm going to go back in. Tell coach I just need another player. So EMT kind of looks at me, looks at Coach Paulie, like, yeah, he's done for the day. And Paulie looks at him, he's like, oh crap. Hey, Sky, done for the day. I was like, no, I'm fine. My arm's fine now. It's fine. And as I do this again, all of a sudden the ache just came through, and I was like, oh God, and it just tightened up immediately. So they went and got me a sling, put me in a sling. They're like, yeah, you need to get that looked at. Okay. So, get on the bus after the game. We won the game. Get on the bus after the game. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, shit, I hope this isn't bad. I hope this doesn't end. Like, all I'm thinking about is those Disney movies where the kid gets hurt and never gets to see the game again. 45-year-old wanting to play the game still and whatnot. That's all I kept thinking about in my head. Next day, grandparents on a Saturday, take me to a specialist a few towns over in a bigger town in Minnesota called Alexandria. And they take me to a doctor to get x-rays and an MRI. And x-rays reveal my cartilage on my bone wall. So your shoulder is built kind of like this. So here's your socket, and here's your shoulder that cups it. And there's a cartilage wall right along here that keeps this socket from doing this. This is what happens when you sublux or when you dislocate your shoulder. That cartilage wall kind of does this number to it to keep it from going out. This x-ray showed the cartilage on this cup basically doing this number. Cartilage just dangling by like one little piece of the cartilage still attached. Shoulders just in free movement. I'm just like, all right, well, how do you fix that? And they're just like, well, there are two options. You can go in for surgery, and we can schedule that now, and we cut you open, do a full reconstructive surgery on it. You're going to miss the rest of your football season. You're going to miss the rest of your basketball. You're going to miss your entire basketball season coming up. But it'll be the best surgery for you. I'm like, well, what's my other option? They're like, well, you can go through an arthroscopic surgery where we come in hole, suture it back on, which are little like stitches. Suture it back onto the bone wall, and a couple months, you might make it back by mid-season for basketball. Well, those are my only two options. And they're like, no, you can just say screw us and go do your own thing and see if it heals on its own. Ooh. How long am I out for that? Till you feel better. I like that. I'm in control then. Yeah. I'm an idiot. I chose that. So, I go home. I get all the information I can about what's wrong with my shoulder. I call my coach, and he puts me in touch with like 16 different people for different therapies and for braces. Like, they put me in one brace that locked my arm to my chest to start with, and then after a week you reconfigured it, and it kept, there was a it was like webbing almost between your arm and your waist, or your arm and your chest, and it kept you from raising your arm up. It was meant for subluxation, anti-subluxation, meaning that it won't let your arm go up to a certain level, because the higher your arm goes, the more susceptible you are to sublux or popping your shoulder out. So I was wearing that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to practice still. Obviously can't practice, but I'm still going to practice because I'm a team guy. A couple weeks go by, doing all this crap and throwing left-handed, trying to have fun left-handed. Sucks. So we get to about middle of the season. We're playing our conference rival, Otter Tail Central. These are who it's either going to be us or them as conference champs. That's how it is every year. So we go, I'm feeling better. Talk to coach. I'm playing. Sure you can handle it? Playing. Get out on the field, rotating me in. There was a freshman that was playing defensive end, outside linebacker, during my stead. He was a big kid. He was about 6'2", and probably about 240 pounds. But he's a freshman. And he wasn't quite all there yet. So I was trying to teach him, how to play while being hurt and not screw everything up. Because this was supposed to be my senior year. This was supposed to be my golden year for sports. For high school, I should say. And so coaches rotate me in. And so I get in a few plays on defense, come out, rest a little bit, go back in. I'm wearing my shoulder brace, everything. We're good. Wasn't playing offense yet because I didn't want to be reaching for passes. That was my big thing, is I didn't want to reach for passes, so they just had me in on defense. Second half rolls around. We're getting into late third quarter, and we're down, I think, 7 points. It was a close game. There wasn't much offense in this game. Defense was it was slobber knocker. And so, problem was they were killing us on their option, their quarterback bootlegs and options. So, defensive coordinator pulls me aside. I loved this guy. He was a great guy. Loved to play basketball with this guy. And his name was Mike. Coach Bauk. Grabs me on the sideline, and he's like, our game plan of not letting them outside of you, we're changing that. Because I was mostly just covering the flats. Again, outside containment, covering the flats. That was my job that game, because they had a mobile quarterback. This quarterback is 5'7", skinny guy, but he's fast. So he grabs me on the sideline while we're on offense, and he's like, we're changing up the scheme. Kill the quarterback. Get in there, disrupt him. I want you in the backfield before he even looks at his running back in the backfield. I can do that, coach. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. What about that? What about outside containment? What about the flats? Don't worry. I'll put one of our other linebackers out there. Or I'll bring up the corner. Okay. So, just to get this clear, you just want me to screw shit up back there, right? And he's like, yes, cause chaos back there. Yeah, I can do that. So I get back there. Defense comes up. I'm out there. Snap, bam, run in there, mow a guy over, mess the play up. Didn't get the ball carrier, but I messed the play up. That was my goal. Boom, all right. Nothing. They gained no yardage. Second play, same thing. I go and lay the ball carrier out before I could see the quarterback going to hand the ball off. Go lay the ball carrier out. Quarterback ended up having to throw a pass. Threw an incomplete pass. No yardage. Good to go. Third play. I take one step in. Quarterback turns like he's going to come my way. Oh, roast beef sandwich. I'm going to lay this guy out. He takes one step towards me. I drop the shoulder, and I go arms out and go to wrap. I hit him square in the gut. And we're talking, that's a big drop for me to get down and hit this guy in the gut. Wrapped up, perfect form tackle. Head up, boom, went to drive. As soon as my shoulder, bad shoulder that I led with, made contact with him, because he was coming my way and I was going full bore his way. As soon as my shoulder made contact with him, dislocates. I heard it and felt it pop. And I heard the quarterback go, oh, as soon as I hit him, and then he sheds me. He'd already pitched the ball at this point. He pitched it as I went and hit him. Okay? And I hit. And then he sheds me. He just dumps me off. Literally takes that bad arm and just bloop, drops me over. And I'm laying on the ground on my back. Shoulder out again. Writhing in pain. Oh my God, it hurt. Coach Pauly comes over. It's like, oh, we gotta get you off. We gotta get you off the field. And I was like, just help me get my arm, my shoulder put back into place. I was like, remember what happened before? I need the same thing this time. Just help me get my shoulder back into place. Oh, I can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. Let me go get the paramedics. So he goes gets the meat wagon. So they come out there. The EMTs come out there. And they're just like, oh, we gotta get you off the field. I was like, no, I was like, I know what to do. They explained this to me before. Just help me get my knee up to my chest. So reluctantly, they helped me get my knee up to my chest. Do the same type of thing. I was not relaxed. I forgot the key point in breathing to calm me down. And nobody around me reminded me of that. So I grab my knee, straighten it out, and I pull it back up towards my chest, and I just give it a yank. Nothing. Oh, that hurt. So I do it again. Up. Give it a yank. Nothing. Pain. I've got tears streaming down my face. It hurts so bad. Laid back for a second, kept my knee up to my chest with my other hand. And Pauly's like, this ain't working. We got to get you off the field. We got to get you off the field. And I was like, just give me a second. I tried to relax. Knee back up. arms back around. One last yank. Pop! Goes back in. Paulie jumps right then and there. He was just like, oh my God, I felt that in the ground. That was the most disgusting thing ever. And I was just like, thanks for the help, coach. EMTs were just non-existent. And they helped me off the field. Never saw the defensive side of the ball again. Out. That hurt. Oh my God. I got to play like a couple of snaps on offense throughout the rest of the season because that was mid-season. We ended up going to the conference finals to go to state. Ended up losing that one. I couldn't play in the game. I got to go in on offense on 2 different routes. That was it. Just I couldn't play. I could not keep my arm. I couldn't reach for a pass. I caught 1 touchdown pass, like, I don't know, our 7th game of the season, a couple weeks after I hurt my shoulder the second time. Caught 1 touchdown pass on 1 play that I got to go in on. Told the coach, I was like, hey, I ain't going out like this. I need a touchdown pass. So he's like, what's your favorite play? I was like, you know which play it is. It's like a 45-yard bomb, touchdown, 1 and done, walked off the field. That was it. Didn't get to play again. Went in 2 times in the playoffs. Was so hurt. Couldn't even reach my arm out to catch a pass. Hurt so bad. So, yeah. Screwed that big time. So that's my injury story from what happened to me in high school. So, and then I ended up having arthroscopic surgery to end the year. After basketball season was over. Played the entire basketball season with a dislocated shoulder. That was fun. In hindsight, I should have done the wide open surgery. Bypassed my senior year. And just gone straight to college. Should have. Because I had the offers that were willing to work on my shoulder for me, but I was an idiot. Decided to not take them up on that. So, okay, before we get going on ripping a box tonight, I have to hook my brake camera back up because I changed everything around for break night last week so that we had a better camera for the card camera. Now I have to put the camera back up. Give me 1 second here, peeps. Alright, let's see how this works. I forgot it switched around. How am I going to do this quick? Hold up. I'll do this quick. There, that works. Okay. Tonight, we are going to do something that I don't think I've done on this show before. Hockey. We are going to rip a box of 2020-21 Upper Deck Series 2 Hockey. This is the retail box, and obviously we're looking for Young Guns. We're going to give a couple of cards away out of this tonight. This is a 24-pack box. So this is not going to be a fast break. But, jeez. I'm going to keep the knife handy because sometimes these are not fun to open. Alright, so this is what 2021 Upper Deck Series 2 looks like. Starting off, Matt Waugh, Sidney Crosby, Rantanen, Young Guns, Brian Pino for the Capitals. I'm not going to go through every card. And Young Guns are what we are chasing. In Upper Deck Hockey, Young Guns are what we chase. And then we get a David Case for the Flyers Young Gun. I haven't looked at pricing on these lately. I've had this box here for a while. Ooh, we have something colorful coming up. We have a Peyton Krebs Dazzlers. That's a neat. That is a neat insert. Dazzlers. Peyton Krebs. We get a Rookie Portraits Hakanpää for the Ducks. Yeah, they are nice looking inserts. I do like Upper Deck for their inserts. I absolutely do. Marquee Rookies, Nico Mikola. Marquee Rookies, Kirill Ustimenko. Ooh, we get another Dazzlers. And before that, we get a UD Canvas, Roop Hintz. Then we get another Dazzlers of Victor Olofsson. No insert in this pack. Alright, so maybe we just got spoiled with the first handful of packs. Technically we had two in the last one, so. Young Guns of Jalen Chatfield, sorry. Maybe it was because we had two in the one pack. Young Guns of Tim Stützle. Award winners. Tampa Bay Lightning. This is a old school, old stock. Like a vintage stock. Portraits rookies, Pierre-Olivier Joseph. The lettering on the portraits just reminds me of that old Collector's Choice, Upper Deck Collector's Choice from back in the 90s. Marquee rookies, Stuart Skinner. Marquee rookies, Bowen Byram. This box just doesn't seem to end. It's like every time I take a pack out, it doesn't seem to go any lower. Portrait rookies, Philip Kurashev. See what I mean with that UD portraits? Just reminds me of that old Collector's Choice look. Canvas, Shea Weber. Filling up the table. And don't forget about break night tomorrow night. We have some fantastic breaks on the docket for tomorrow. Last break night before the National. We don't have breaks next week. I will be gone. No breaks next week. Marquee rookies. Joel Kivirante. That was a cat. Yeah, I'm gonna be following the Kraken. I don't know if I'm gonna be collecting Kraken, but I'm definitely gonna be following them. Young Guns, Austin Paganski. And a Dazzlers, Sean Monahan. Back to back in one pack. Marquee rookies, Ryan McLeod. And we get a dual jersey, Steven Lorentz and Morgan Geekie. Rookie dual materials. Not numbered. Young Guns, Mackenzie Entwistle. And another Dazzle behind it. John Tavares. Dazzlers. There we go. So 4 Dazzlers in this box so far. And we've been getting the last 2 right behind the Young Guns. Award winners. Connor Hellebuyck. Oh, nice. Yeah, Cal Raleigh. He's going to be good. I like that kid. Portraits Rookies, Bowen Byram. And our last pack for the box. Canvas, Shea Theodore. And it looks like nothing else in that. So that was our box of Upper Deck Hockey Series 2 for 2021. Okay, so I'm going to give away the rookie dual jersey tonight. Alright, so the rookie dual jersey. And I'm going to give away the rookie portraits lot. So all 4 of the rookie portraits. Okay. Those are going to be the 2 things we give away for tonight. We're going to start with our dice roller so we know how many times we're going to randomize. So 7 times we're going to randomize the list. Anybody that wants in, just type me in the chat, M-E. And we're going to get the list rolling. We're going to get right to this since it's almost 8 o'clock. Just type me in the chat. Anybody else? We're going to give it just another minute, and then we're going to just go right to it. We're going to randomize the list 7 times per the dice roll we just saw. Anybody else? Anybody else want in? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Looks like our screen's starting to flicker again. That's not good. That is really not good. I don't like that. Alright, looks like that's gonna be it for people entering. So let's just get right to it. Alright, we're going to randomize the list 7 times per the dice roll we did right before we started the list. 1, good luck everybody. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and lucky number 7. David winning the dual jersey. Dawn winning the stack of rookies. Congratulations, you guys. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, there will be no show next week. I will be in Chicago, so I will not be broadcasting. I will be doing some recording. I will be loading some videos on the YouTube channel from my time in Chicago. So that is something I'm looking forward to because it's going to be a lot of fun. And so there's going to be a lot of content going up on the website or going up on the YouTube channel next week. So make sure you guys check it all out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for break night. And then next week off all week. And then break night and sports. I might not have time to do Sports Stuff Hub live the week I come back because I fly back Monday and the show is Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to have time to prep for the show, but we shall see. I will keep everybody posted. But if I don't, then I'll see you guys the week after. But break night, when I come back for sure, will be the Wednesday. I will be loading some breaks on the website while I'm in Chicago for the following week. So just make sure you guys are checking that stuff out too. All right, I'm out of here. It's 8 o'clock right now, so I'm out of here. I got to get some stuff ready, and then I've got a card show to get ready for this weekend too, so I got a lot to do. So whoever I don't see tomorrow night, I will see you guys when I come back from Chicago. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow at break night. Stay safe and take care, everybody.